Okay, welcome back to the channel. We are going to review my last week of the squat cycle, but I changed it up a little bit. I'm going to talk why in a second throughout this video. But last week, was looking for a couple of PRs. I was looking to get, so the last week, the first day is kind of like the quote unquote the volume day. So I was looking to try to get 315 for 4, and I ended up having it for 2. But it's fine, like 315 for 2, it is a PR. So 315 was my last attempted 1 rep max. So I did it for 2, and I think I could have done 4, but I think the weight got in my head and I got scared of the weight at the 3rd and 4th rep, and then you'll see in a second. But yeah, I mean, I changed it up a little bit, and I want to talk about, like, this is going to be the main theme of this video. I have found that for some reason I lack, like I progress really well and I adapt really well to volume. So I learn quickly how to generate volume with a certain amount of weight. So I can go, like, if I like, or the programs, like the 1x20 programs, all the programs that are MRAP sets or density sets, I'm better at those that I am at intensity, like 1 rep maxes. So obviously the sport that I'm in right now is weightlifting, and that is it is 1 rep maxes, it is heavy singles. And throughout the last couple of weeks, when I have just focus more on the squats, not taking so many quote unquote heavy attempts, or when Big Friday came around and yes, I should be taking heavy attempts, I was kind of like focusing on the squat ahead, and then I wasn't focusing on the Olympic lifts. So I just wanted to talk about the importance of specificity, not only when it comes to exercise selection, as in obviously snatching from the floor all the way down will get you better at snatching in competition, and jumping will get you better at jumping, sprinting will get you better at sprinting, but also like the intensity wise, right? Like intensity is a skill, and that's why when we take novice athletes or beginner athletes, the first couple of quote unquote weight or intensity gains are all primarily coordination wise and like neuromuscular, more than just purely hypertrophic or or physical. It is a skill, and it's a skill that I didn't practice a lot throughout my career as a tennis player, which obviously if I hadn't been practicing a lot, I wasn't really good at it. But 2 is a thing that I'm competing on right now, and I feel like every time I come to Big Fridays, I don't get nearly as high in weight as I wanted to, and it's because it just feels awful coming off the ground. It feels heavy, feels slow. I feel like I'm lacking a little more heavy attempts in the workout. So the way I structure it, and you'll see it in the weightlifting program if you sign up, is we're gonna go a little kind of like my take on the Bulgarian system. And what I mean by the Bulgarian system is I'm not doing doubles or triples. I just don't have time for that. But what I mean is just keeping the intensity really high and the specificity really high. So the way I'm setting up my training right now is, instead of doing 5 days a week, I'm gonna do 4 days a week. And the first day is gonna be snatching oriented. So this was the day. So you snatch heavy single, you squat, you snatch pull, and then you do type of like press. So anything that the lockouts for this phase in particular, I'm gonna do SOTS presses, snatch grips, SOTS presses, just to work on that position. My ankle has been bothering me, my mobility has been bothering me a little bit at the deep squat. So I'm just getting a little more volume in that position. And this was, I still wanna get my running slash sprinting slash plyo in. So this is the session that we did. Trying to work on my first steps, as we determined that was the first thing, kind of like when in weightlifting, like the earlier problems that you can solve might trickle up to better positions. If you fix your pull from the floor, how you maintain position from the floor, tightness of the floor, all other problems that you may have, like bar getting away from you at the knees, no contact, bar being forward or looping. If you fix from the floor and then go up, you might just tackle a lot of problems simultaneously. So we determined that the first steps were really little, very short, and therefore I wasn't creating enough momentum to have a bigger stride when I was in top speed. So we're trying to get those steps maximal, long, to cover more ground in less steps. So working a lot of acceleration here, but yeah, so I'm trying to get more heavy attempts in only because of that, but also I feel like when I back down a little bit, which you should sometimes, but at the end of the day, me as a weightlifter, I didn't feel like my weightlifting wasn't going as I wanted to. I just want to get better, heavier attempts a little more frequently in the week. And then we know that the main three variables of training are frequency, volume, and intensity. And therefore, like I had to, because I'm increasing the intensity and a little the volume of that intensity a little more, the frequency, which means how many days per week are you doing a certain movement, has to decrease. So I went down to 4. And then I use the 4th day to either work on my sprinting, work on my plyos, work on my weaknesses, or work on my swimming that I have to dial in right now, because 3 weeks from now or 2 weeks from now, I have my yearly 200 meter IM, and it's feeling good. It's not feeling bad, but every time I get in the pool and I try 2 IM, it's death, and I wanted to make it feel a little better. So just trying to work on that. I got a little more frequently in the pool this week. I got 3 days in this week. I only got 1 video, but I got 3 days. Last week I got 2, and then consistently during the semester I got 1 a week. So it's feeling much better than what it was last year, because last year I didn't swim at all. I started swimming once a week before, like 4 weeks before, 6 weeks before the 2 IM. But now it's feeling better, so hopefully we get to the sub 3. But yeah, just trying to increase that specificity, right? And again, the swimming, the same thing. I finished every swim with a 2 IM, even if it's slow. I just wanted to get used to the breathing patterns, the changes of the wall pushes, the how to breathe, how I coordinate, when do I use my legs more, how do I use my upper body more, how to be efficient. And again, I think doing the 2 IM, especially if I'm not a competitive swimmer, but if that is what I'm doing soon, I just would rather do that, and I do that, and then it feels better. So the second day, I'm gonna do a clean, and then it's 1 rep max, clean and jerk. And when I say 1 rep max, it's not pushing beyond your limits. It's not going for a PR. It's just going as high as you can go that day. So I'm having some elbow pain or elbow issues still. And by the end of the week, it was amazing because it was the first time that I didn't. And I think it comes from just being specific, being a little more frequent, and just manipulating those training variables in order to get the most amount of work I can get. Because I keep emphasizing this to my athletes and to myself, like whatever is hurting you might be the solution to just pain can be so specific. Like again, it hurts just jerking. So what I did is just introduce a couple more, or 1 or more. Like if I have to go lighter on one day because it hurts, I just do another day of jerking. And I get a little more frequency because it appears that the main variable that it's hurting my elbow right now is intensity. So if I have to lower the intensity, I increase the frequency, and then I get a couple more days in. For example, this cycle, I'm gonna do 3 days of jerks, right? I'm gonna do the clean and jerk, I'm gonna do the power clean and jerk, and then I'm gonna do the big Friday clean and jerk. So very, very specific, and then just trying to manipulate those variables in order to see how it fits. But it is likely that whatever hurts you is the solution to not being hurt, because if it hurts, it's probably going to be a weakness of yours, and if you stop doing it altogether, it is going to decrease dramatically your capacity for that movement. And then let's say like 80% hurts, you stop doing it, and then your capacity goes from whatever your 100 was to 80, and you try 70, that's gonna hurt again. It's like if your capacity just keeps dropping, whatever you try is gonna keep hurting. So I just feel like whatever hurts, just do that, the most regress possible that you can do. In a squat, for example, maybe back squats hurt. If front squat hurts, you go to goblet squat. If goblet squat hurts, you go body weight. If body weight hurts, you go assisted. And then you find a point of entry. And again, if the intensity is reduced significantly, you just increase the frequency until you feel a little more confident, and you keep going up in the scale. But if you stop doing it altogether, unless you really have to, it's gonna be worse. You're gonna be worse off than if you can do it. So don't be alarmed by the decreased intensity. Like, oh, if I can't do my 100%, I'd rather not do it at all. That is such a bad mentality when it comes to rehabbing and just getting again to your 100%, because you just keep losing. Capacity, and if you lose the capacity, like let's say you're 100%. Now, because you stopped doing it, 70% of what it was before, and then you try 70%, but now your 70% is your 100%. It hurts. Then you don't do it for 2 weeks. Now your capacity is 60%, and then you try 60%, and then it hurts, and you just keep in that cycle. Instead of that, just keep doing the movement if you can. Obviously, talk to your doctors, talk to your athletic trainers, but if you can, you should always find a way to get the movement in as regressed as possible. Even if that is assisting yourself, even if that is less than body weight, it doesn't matter. Just find a way to do it, because it is likely that that pain comes from a weakness, and if you get that weakness into strength, it is probably going to be beneficial for you. For example, pull-ups, right? They're hurting my elbow. The slow negative made it feel a little better. So instead of doing 3 heavy sets, I went for 5 sets of 5 body weight, slow ones. Getting a good stretch in the elbow, getting good traction in the elbow and the shoulder, which made it release a little bit. And then just trying to progress from there. Like if next week still hurts, I'll do maybe 5 sets of 6 or 5 sets of 5 with a little weight, whatever feels better. And if that is a no-go, I'll do 3 sets of 5 and maybe add another day of pull-ups. Again, if volume is not, then increase the intensity. If the intensity is not working, increase the volume. If none of them work, you increase the frequency. You just play around with these 3 variables until you're feeling more confident, and then physically you're feeling better, and then you keep going up and up and up until you are at 100% again. But yeah, I mean, every time I do this, every time that I get a little more specific and increase the frequency, things start to feel a little better, right? Like, and I'm not saying this works for everyone, but for me, for example, if my knee is feeling iffy a little bit with the squats, if I increase the frequency, which in turn will lead to less volume or less intensity, but the more I can do it and the more consistently I can do it over time, by 2 or 3 weeks after that, or 1 week, it hurts less. Like, it's just a matter of controlling those variables, and then yeah, just rehabbing and then just attacking some weaknesses, right? Maybe in the squat something else hurts, like your tibia, your calf, your hamstring, whatever it is, and then you attack those weaknesses separately. But the squat itself, you should be always doing it, trying to do it, unless you really just cannot do it at all. Some top speed work here, but the third day, which is this one, will be a powers day. So more or less, the Bulgarian system was like 1 day full lifts, 1 day powers, 1 day full lifts, 1 day powers, very specific, like full cleans and snatches and jerks, power, clean, snatches, jerks, and then you just keep repeating the cycle. So I'm kind of doing that right now in my training, and then you'll see it on the app a little bit. If you want to join me for this cycle, it is essentially what I do, and I talk you guys through it. I'm essentially 1 or 2 weeks in front of you guys, so obviously if it doesn't work, I change it up, and for you guys, so you guys don't have to, if anything is not working or everything is not feeling right, or you just bury or I end up buried dead, I don't want you guys to feel that way. So I just keep, I do the program myself and I change it up so you guys can get it in 1 or 2 weeks from now. But it just feels better. Like I felt so much better this week and more confident. And I'm not saying you have to train like this every day of like every week of the year, but it's having some cycles where you just get very specific and you do the whatever it is that you're looking for more consistently. It just makes you feel a little better. It makes you feel a little more confident, and in turn, it's gonna make you feel much better in whatever you're trying to do. For me, for example, weightlifting, heavy singles. I'm just doing a lot of heavy singles for the next 4, 5, maybe 6 weeks and see how I feel. But for example, Monday is the best snatch I've ever felt. I don't normally get to do clean and jerks alone, maxing, because I do it after snatching. So that feels really good when it's by its own, and I get a day to work on that. And then Friday was the first day that it was the first time I jerked without pain in my elbow, so it was good. It's just like, I don't know, when I do this kind of specific cycles, they help a little bit keep everything together. And again, I'm not giving up a lot. I'm giving up a little bit on, maybe I'm not bench pressing as much as I want to. I'm not doing anything else, but I am getting my volume work from the weaknesses warm up in the beginning. I'm getting my plyos done, I'm getting my running, I'm getting my swimming, I'm getting my cardio. And then we got a couple more snatch pulls, right? We're gonna do 2 days. So snatch with snatch pulls, cleans with clean pulls, power days, we're gonna do block snatch pulls, just to get a little more consistently pulling, less lower back fatigue, but more load. You can load it up much more from the blocks, and it's a good way to make you feel comfortable in a snatch grip with heavier loads past your knees. And then the last day, you're gonna do clean pulls from the blocks. Again, same concept as the snatch pulls, but very specific. You front squat, you back squat, you snatch pull a lot, you clean pull a lot, you do heavy singles a lot for a couple of weeks, hopefully get you feeling much more confident. But I think like it is like volume is good in Olympic lifts. They just, for me, for example, every time I do a little bit of volume, I lose the ability to go heavy. It's just something weird, but I just adapt really well to, like, I get really good at doing triples and then I get really bad at doing singles. Like some people, the volume help. Like I'm not saying I'm special. I just feel like when I do volume, I get really good at doing triples. I get really good at doing triples with that weight. But then when I go to singles, I lose the ability, or I lose the sensation of, like the weight is heavy and slow off the ground. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna be patient. I just lose that sensation. So when I program, sometimes you'll see triples, you'll see doubles, and then for myself, I just do singles when I feel like it, because I just like to feel that sensation of, I'm still, it doesn't matter if the bar is heavy off the ground, I can still manage it, I can still be patient with it, I can still extend and get under it. And again, talking about, right, like how we manage, like what we talked about last video, right, like the rows with a lot of weight were hurting my elbows, so I did less weight for more reps. I think I did 4 sets of around 15 to 25. But it felt good. My back got sore. My back barely gets sore at this point, so that was a good change up. I normally do a lot of weight because, again, trying to get my body used to handling heavy weight. But again, a little volume does build the capacity to handle heavier loads. So don't forget the volume. It just sometimes is good. Like, and I do have a system, like a concurrent system, where we train different qualities all together. So you still will get, like, even though you're doing singles of the Olympic lifts, you will get the volume of the wings as warm up, and then you have the option of doing volume on the accessory if you want. I always program anywhere between 5 to 30 reps, and then I give you kind of like a progression of how to do it. Like, you do the same weight for more reps, you do more reps with the same weight. Maybe in the system, I more than like 5 to 30, I program a little closer, like 8 to 12, 10 to 12, and then do like double progression to make it a little more standardized. Like, if you get to 12, you go up in weight, 10, 10, 10, 11, 12, you go up in weight again. That's like the double progression. And I think I'm gonna do that for the rest of the cycles. I'm gonna try it out myself. I like the 5 to 30 range because it gives you, I like, if, for example, load hurts and you can do 12, but doing sets of 30 feels a little better. Like, I don't want you to be discouraged and be like, oh, I can't do this. Like, that's what the 5 to 30 rep range is from. And some people like a lot of volume, some people like a lot of weight. So it just gives that that variability a little bit. Some plyos, again, just trying to find a more fun way of doing plyos. Like, I hate setting up the jump mat and then being told that I jumped 21. Like, yeah, not really optimistic in that sense. So what I try to do is just change it up. I see some plyos, especially I watch Will Rattel. I watch what's his name? The guy that always competes with Will Rattel, Blaine Connor or something like that. I might be butchering the name a little bit. I'll look it up and put it somewhere around here. But I watch those two guys, and they have always like fun plyometric variations, and then I like to try them. Again, I have themes. So one day, if I'm doing maximal, I'll do maximal jumps, or if I'm doing reactive, continuous jumps, I'll do some type of that. But I just do like to change it up a little bit, go for height, go for distance, single leg, double leg. It just makes it a little more fun. It was talking about like the big Friday. We got the snatch day, we got the clean and jerk day, we got the powers day, and then we're going on to the big Friday. This was the first time in a while that I was able to get 185. It was a little shaky, but like, I think it helps having the Monday to grease up a couple of, like, you know, like how to take 1 rep max and work a little more on technique while doing the 1 rep maxes or heavy singles. And it helps the powers, heavy singles. It just helps leading up to this. And then 185 was something that I have been missing for the last 3 weeks, and finally got it. And today was the first day in 2 to 3 weeks that I was not in pain in my elbow. It was feeling good. Clean and jerks were feeling spot on. The clean was feeling really good. I do feel that if I normally clean with a full grip. If I force that right now, it still hurts. So I'm just letting my pinky go. And then one of the reps, you'll see that when I try to, I'm not really good at trying to get my pinky under. I'm trying to get better at that. But like one of the reps, I try to get it under, and it kind of like collapses on my pinky, kind of like jams it, and I have to let go of it. It was so weird. It's never happened to me. The cleans were feeling so, there it is, see that one? It was so weird. Like, I mean, I'm not really good at it, but like it felt on my pinky, so I had to let it go. I went up to 205. It is the first day in 2 to 3 weeks that I get to break the 195, because just after 195, it always felt like, it felt like numb. It felt weird. Like, it felt weird to do a lot of weight, but it was good. I'm happy that I got to do that. Clean jerks, and then we're gonna go into clean pulls. Okay, I love the clean pull blocks. just because they allow me to do a little more. I got to go up to 315, which is something I barely get to do. Clean pull. My initial goal was to get that bar close to belly bottom, but I got carried away with the weight a little bit. Still helps, like trying to explode out of the contact and getting my elbows as high as I can. Like they don't go very high, but I tried. Felt good. I'm liking heavy triples. I'm liking the triples a lot because they're not one rep where it essentially turns into a deadlift, but it's a good amount of volume and still I can do a lot of weight. And then we had to break it up, but final day of the squat cycle means squat PRs. I forgot to, I forgot to video the warm-ups and the warm-up and all I did before. So I just got from 265 to 335, it was kind of my goal. And now I need to test deadlift sometime next week and then see if I can get to the 1,000-pound deadlift or 1,000-pound total, not deadlift, total that I wanted to get up to. But it was good, good week. Finally, my elbow pain is going away. And I think for me, I like specific cycles and I don't get severely injured or fatigue of overuse, like maybe my elbow a little bit from back squatting so much. But yeah, like something that I wanted to get out of this video was the importance of specificity when it comes to a task. Maybe for Olympic lifting, for example, it's heavy singles, so doing more heavy singles, having more attempts at heavy singles. If it's squatting more. That's why I do the front squat cycle, that's what I do the back squat cycle. For running, it's running more. Maybe running, especially with my background, I need a little more technique work, so that is what we're trying to work on. But if once you have a good, efficient base of technique, just running fast and getting up to that threshold of like 90% of your max velocity will give you adaptation. It's just whenever you have a good solid foundation built on volume and range of motion, and I think I'm coming up with a blog either this week or next week about this, but if you build a solid foundation on those training principles, frequency, volume, range of motion, all this different stuff, then you can go and do very, very specific things. But yeah, so specificity is very important. And that's what I wanted to get out of this video. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment on it, share it, all the things that help this channel get across. If you whenever you want to see of more, whatever questions you want answered, whatever you want me to talk about less or show less, you can let me know in the comments. But I'll see you guys next week.